Good afternoon. My name is Nadine Bach, Channel Enablement Manager for SAP BusinessObjects portfolio, responsible for EMEA and India. Today with me is Helen Hope. She's responsible for Business User Indirect Channel in EMEA to talk about BI on Demand. BI on Demand gives us and our partners the possibility to reach out to further user groups and to position BI to companies that are not yet able to run a BI solution on-premise due to several reasons. For example, they don't have the internal resources, the know-how, or the budget. So Helen, would you give us an overview of BI on Demand? So what's the opportunity of BI on Demand for our partners, and what do we offer, and what's the value proposition of BI on Demand?
Thank you, Nadine. Hello, and I'm delighted today to have the opportunity to talk to you all about BI on Demand. As I said, we're going to cover a number of topics today. We're going to look at the market opportunity for BI on Demand, why software as a service is no longer a risky proposition. We're going to look in more detail at SAP BusinessObjects BI on Demand offerings, and also why you, as a partner, should engage in selling BI on Demand. And finally, we'll look at the business model and availability. I will then hand back to Nadine, who is going to talk to us about how you can get, as a partner, enabled to sell BI on Demand. So let's crack on. Firstly, what is the market opportunity for BI on Demand? Well, Gartner recognizes that even whilst the global technical market is due to shrink this year, over the next 3 years, the market for BI, software as a service, and BI on Demand will actually increase by 300%. And software as a service will be a market worth $150 billion by 2013. And if we look at the target customers for BI on Demand and software as a service, it really hits what we call the SME sweet spot. And looking at that area on the graph on the bottom corner of your screen, you'll see that there is a yellow section of the largest target market area for software as a service. These are the customers that are most likely to buy software as a service, and we can see that they are those organizations with between 100 and 1,000 employees. And as I said earlier, this is the SME sweet spot, so it's ideally suited for the customers that you service within your partnership within SAP. And if we look at the growth market potential for software as a service for the BI area, we can see that this exponentially increases over the coming years as well. Since 2008, with the introduction of crystalreports.com, and going forward to 2012, post the introduction of BI on Demand, we can see that the market will have a substantial growth of 28.9%. and be worth over 500 million euros per annum. So again, a great opportunity for you as a partner in terms of revenue and customers. So let's, moving on, look at why software as a service is no longer seen as a risky proposition for our customer base. Well, software as a service over the previous years has moved from seen to be something that early adopters in the marketplace would procure and implement, to something that's moved into the mainstream area. And that is that software as a service has matured greatly with the likes of Salesforce.com becoming a mainstay of SME customers' implementations. And as we progress, it'll actually be seen as something that most customers are buying in the marketplace and switching over to cloud technology. As a result of that, if you look at something that we use in the industry called the slope of enlightenment, you'll see that once a product goes through these adoption phases, once they reach a mature product, it becomes something called the slope of enlightenment. Customers are happy to buy and procure software as a service and use it within their organizations. It's recognized in the industry as being a main product. And that's when it reaches the plateau of productivity. People are actively using the product and optimizing its usage and gaining the benefits from it. Software as a service currently is in what we call type B adoption, or the trough of a disillusionment, and that is it's gone through the early adoption stage, and now as we move forward into the release of BI on Demand, It's a low ebb of, okay, what's next? Customers have seen it in terms of earlier releases of products, and now they're looking to say, okay, well, what else is available in the marketplace? What gives me the same functionality as I have in my on-premise platform? And that is where customers start to move forward into the slope of enlightenment. So they start to get more mature product releases that they can work with. And BI on Demand will provide them with that functionally rich product, will help bring them into a mature mainstream market and provide them onto the slope of enlightenment. So there we can see customers moving forward into software as a service, and in particular BI on Demand, becoming part of their mainstream portfolio that they would look at for their BI implementations. So what does SAP BusinessObjects offer in terms of BI on Demand? Well, we have the premise of we will give away chaos free, and then we will start to charge for additional functionality and additional security as the usage of BI on Demand becomes more essential in an organization. So you today, as a partner, can sign up for BI on Demand Personal Edition, and so can your customers. And this is a great tool for getting your customers familiar with the product, using the product, and to get them hooked to it. Firstly, customers can customers can sign up, and they can have access to building their own dashboards, access to their data sources in-house. So if they've got spreadsheets that they want to connect to, they can do that via software as a BI on Demand. If they have perhaps mixed data sources, they can bring two data sources together in what is termed as data mashups, and they can connect to other software as a service data sources, so other applications they may use in-house, such as SFDC. They have a level of username and password security, and they have limits around how much data they can access and how much data they can store and upload. And that's something, as I say, your customers and you as a partner have available today. Some of our partners are already going into customers, showing them and signing them up to Personal Edition whilst they're in the customer site, so that the customer can then play for themselves and experience the BI on Demand user environment. And that gets them hooked. Once they're hooked, a customer can then choose to move on to either Essential Edition, which is seen as being much more of a departmental deployment, or Advanced Edition, which is really focused on a more organizational deployment. Within Essential Edition, prices are around €22 per user per month, and within that you have access to a greater range of data sources, so you can customize the data, the secure data that you can receive and access, and you can customize your web and your mobile environment to also receive BI on Demand alerts and messages. You can produce, again, your own dashboards and produce production and ad hoc reports with analytics. You get greater security and greater upload and storage limits within Essential Edition. So it starts to make it much more functionally rich and much more functionally robust and secure for customer deployments. Moving on to the Advanced Edition, which will cost €63 per user per month, you can actually then have greater access in terms of implementing BI on Demand with your own organizational security. So make use of enterprise single sign-ons, for example, and you have much greater storage limits within the BI on Demand environment. And really this is a much more production, organizational, robust deployment. Also, with the Advanced Edition, you will have access to BI on Demand data services, and this really enables you to build your data warehousing storage and your data warehousing structures within the cloud technology, using cloud-based ETL tools and technology very similar to our on-premise offerings today. So this really provides you with the ability to host data warehousing and provide access to reporting and dashboards from your data warehouse, all within the BI On Demand cloud environment. As I said, there is a BI On Demand edition to meet every customer requirement, from that first personal edition to be able to access your own spreadsheets, to being able to access other software as a service data sources, and then finally within other data sources within your organization, such as your databases and your data warehouses, along with the ability to create your own data warehouse within the cloud technology. Give away chaos, get the users hooked, and then move them onto the more robust organizational deployments.